Let's clarify something. This video is for creating exceptional learning plans. This information has the potential to make such an impact on you, your team, your department and your organisation that I don't want to make this intro any longer. Let's end the anticipation and get into question number 1. What is a learning and development plan? Well, that's a very good place to start. Simply put, a learning and development plan is your proposal of action as to how you will approach people development so that you achieve your business goals. It's where people and business come together. When complete, your L&D plan is your roadmap from where you find yourself, team and business now to where you desire to be at the conclusion of the timescale that you've set out. This is your overall aim, but there are plenty of other crucial things that your plan will also achieve along the way. These include developing a talent pipeline that will continue to deliver on goals, employee satisfaction and succession planning. Do I need a learning and development plan? No, you don't. However, you don't need a learning plan in the same way that you probably don't need insurance on that brand new expensive phone when you have broken every single phone that you have ever owned. It's a risk that you should not take. By having a learning plan, you are hugely reducing the risk of your business being caught out and needing to react when and if performance falters. Setting out a plan designed to tackle potential problems is challenging, however, it's much easier than trying to resolve an issue after it has occurred. What do I need to include in a learning and development plan? It's incredibly difficult to give you the solution in one definitive answer, as there's so many variables at play. The crucial element to a successful training plan is how it truly fits into the context that it has been created for. The last thing we would want for you to do is to leave this video with the ability to create a highly detailed but potentially wider than mark L&D plan. To avoid this happening, we have key elements which have been tried and tested in a diverse range of industries such as media, healthcare and e-commerce, which will ensure that each element within your plan will support your people, teams and business to achieve their performance goals. Here it is. What are the key elements of a learning and development plan? Here is the framework that we've set out. We go into much deeper detail about each of these over on our website, so head there after this video to discover a bit more. First up, business goals. Crucial to your plan is for it to be built around your business vision and goals. Define what your ideal outcomes look like and reverse engineer from there. Another great place to start with this is to answer the question, what are you already doing well to deliver your business goals? By investing time to research this across a variety of stakeholders, you will gain greater insight as to what is working and contributing towards current performance. This then sets us up perfectly to work out what's missing. Now the next question we have to answer is, what gaps do we need to close so that we can deliver that business goal? We completely recognise that this is a huge question and one with a whole host of potential answers. Therefore, we have 3 break-off questions that will help guide you towards your answer. Firstly, are there any areas of knowledge that are missing completely or are below where you need them to be? Secondly, are there any skill areas that are missing completely or less than you would desire? And finally, are there any changes or improvements to attitude and mindset that would make an impact? With these questions now on your radar, we can be sure that the training you include in your plan is much more likely to have the desired effect and also much more specific outcomes. Then we need to look at your resources. Would you plan what you're going to cook for dinner without looking at what you have in your fridge, cupboards, freezer, etc.? It's highly unlikely. It's always a good idea to take stock of what you have available to you before you decide how you will bring it all together in order to create something magnificent. It's exactly the same with learning and development. Consider the resources available to you in the sense of time, budgets and materials so that you can ensure your plan is realistic and will give you the magnificence your team deserves. Since 2020, there's been a noticeable shift in the preference as to how businesses develop the knowledge of their people. Now, live virtual sessions are seen to be a genuine alternative to face-to-face sessions, without seeming like you are compromising on learning impact. In addition to this, virtual learning promotes bite-sized sessions in a series, which helps with continuity and embedding, as learners can implement their newfound competence and confidence straight away. When mapping this out, it's important to establish the learning preferences of participants. This could be important when considering things such as the type of learning experiences you want to introduce, the times that they'll be running, and the styles of facilitators. Blended learning journeys are a fantastic way of diversifying your experiences so that they can appeal to the learning preferences of the various participants. Gaining knowledge is a fantastic feeling. You feel more informed, empowered, and better equipped to tackle obstacles that previously seemed far too large to scale. So let's fire up an example. You have recognised that your managers would benefit from learning some coaching skills. Now, of course, they could go away and read books, listen to podcasts, perhaps even read a highly informative blog or two on the Excel website to gain vital knowledge. However, it's more important than ever that we recognise that knowing is not the same as doing. We want to develop actual skills that we can apply to our lives. That's where your learning experiences come in. There are so many treasures that can be found in live learning experiences, whether in person or online, when it comes to quickly learning new skills. They're an opportunity for participants to ask specific questions on the topic to an expert trainer, to demonstrate the knowledge they've learned with other learners, and to receive instant specific feedback on their skills, which gives them clear advice on how to develop further. Live sessions achieve this in a way that other passive methods struggle to. Methods such as on-demand modules, webinars, and live seminars with huge numbers of attendees, which is why we tend to view these other types of learning experiences as supplements to live interactive sessions. Now, at some point, you may have heard someone suggest that someone needs to change their attitude. Sounds quite straightforward, doesn't it? However, the vagueness of just asking someone to change their attitude is not actually very helpful at all. Let's say, for example, that you have a member of your team that shows very little interest in training and personal development. Would saying, you need to change your attitude, actually help have an immediate response on this individual? Not only that, will it help to adjust things in the long term? What would be much more helpful is to set in place some appropriate interventions to help understand and influence what is the cause of this person's current attitude. Supporting an individual to discover what is at the root of a perceived attitude problem and working with them to make the changes they need to improve performance is mutually beneficial. Finally, when it comes to implementation, there are 2 stages of questions to answer to then find the clearest action plan for you. The first set are mainly centered around strategic thinking. These include: what training is required that will support the achievement of the business goals, who requires what training, and critically, who will deliver it. Once we have determined answers to those, we can then start to look at logistics. These questions include: how will the training be delivered, where will it take place, and when will it take place? Also crucial when it comes to implementing a plan is that you've set out time to assess the plan when active, and also that you are measuring the impact of each step. This could be quarterly reviews as a minimum to check progress and adjust the plan to assess and identify specific behavioural outcomes, taking a baseline measurement before enacting the plan, and then evaluating after learning events to see the impact of each. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in checking out the full blog on building impactful and effective learning plans, head to our website here. Additionally, you may benefit from listening to our podcast, the Learn, Grow, Succeed podcast, which is available wherever you get your favourite podcasts. We also have an Instagram, which is filled with learning motivation.